guys, my name is Michael and welcome to a new GTK tutorial. We are going to proceed to our second video with signals, and of course we are going to proceed with the GTsignal connect function, which is very important for us to understand it, and it is very important for us to know how it works. Okay, as you can see from the last video, we saw that this function or macro, whatever, just work with some 4 parameters, and those 4 parameters are not just parameters which you just think about them like putting them from some random locations or whatever. No, they are just some clear things which you need to understand what they are, and you need to understand exactly what you need to do when you work with those parameters based on the time and the part on your code where you call this function. In other words, if you call this function on an object, then you need to know and understand that object or instance, like it says the function itself. And of course you need to understand that this option really needs to have an object signal as well, and that signal can be its own signal which belongs to the object itself, or it can be another signal which it gets it from its edges, the Oberseid, which it gets from the class where get subclassed. Like I said, a toggle button is a subclass of GTK button, which means you can work with the signals from GTK button and you can apply them on your GTK toggle button as well. And of course the next thing, which is 100% very important for you to understand, a lot of people make mistakes, you cannot just create a function for yourself. You need to understand that the function which you created, the callback function, has to be a function which follows the signature of the signal which you are monitoring and you are waiting that happens at some point. So you you cannot create just a function, random function, and wait that everything works fine. No, instead that kind of signature for your function has to apply, has to be the same signature which your detailed signal expects as well. So in other words, let's see, at this point we have a program, nothing special. So let's see, I'm going to compile it and run it, and once that you see it, I'm going to close it, and you see something happens because the program doesn't get closed. But anyway, this is another story. The thing here which is very important for you to understand, it is that at this point something happened. What happens? Someone hit the close button, the X button, right here, like this one, you see. And this kind of thing, it is a thing which is called signal. A signal just happened, was emitted, a close signal or quit signal was happening. So how we are going to manage something like this? Well, in this video, in this program, because we do have only one window and nothing special, which means it is about this window, I'm going to go to object hierarchy. I'm going to click on GTK window right here, and once that you go to this playlist, we have, as you can see right here at the top right, signals. Once that you click, you see we have different kind of signals which you can apply to your window, and these signals basically you decide what exactly happens with these signals. But like I said, if we go to object hierarchy right here, we can see that the GTK window, it is a subclass of GTK bin, which means it is a subclass of GTK container, which means it's a GTK widget subclass, and so on. If we click on GTK widget at this point, and we click on the signals, just to be sure that you understand, we see that the GTK widget has a lot of signals. I'm going to pick one which is called destroy, which means it is a signal which expects a function which returns void. So this is the function signature you need to create, and the signal that all holders of reference to the widget should release the reference that they hold, so may result in finalization of the widget if all references are released. So this signal is now suitable for saving widget state. Okay, so in other words, parameter says the object which receives the signal. User data set when the signal handler was connected. There is one important thing which says that this signal has no hooks, no flags, you see. So what exactly means? If we go back a little bit here and we scroll down to the description, we see that we have this right here: the signal run first, run last, and clean up, and so on. Okay, now let me show you something. You'll understand in a second. What I'm going to do right now, I'm going to call the GSignal connect. I'm going to call this function right here, and I'm going to pass, of course, the instance will be our window. The detailed signal which we need, it is the it will be the destroy signal right here. Okay, so don't forget the destroy signal because belongs to GTK widget, not GTK window, but GTK widget. It is the parent of, as I said, it is the ancestor of the window, which means we can apply signals from them to our object. So the signal of the destroy signal of the GTK widget, it is this one which we are going to use right now. And now the next one will be the C handle. The C handle, we need to create it, but for this one we need to basically, if we go back, we need to create a G callback function. It is what it's expected. We're not going to talk right now about this one. Sorry, right here I'm going to say just a little bit that the type used for callback function is structure definitions and function signatures. So this doesn't mean that all callback function must take no parameter and return void. This is very important. Okay, this is just an example which you need to understand, but a thing is for sure that in most cases you need to cast your function to a G callback function. So this is what we are going to do. I'm going to say G callback, you see, and here is the user function. I'm going to say destroy window. Now destroy callback. Okay, and the next one, it is the data. I'm going to say null here. We are not going to pass something right here right now. Now what we need to do, we need to create this function, because we need this function, and the signal itself says the function should be void and should take 2 parameters. So we are going to do the same thing as well. We are going to create a function, a void function. I'm going to call it static, because if not I need to declare it and define it as well. Destroy callback, and the first one said it should be the GTK widget object. So GTK widget object, widget object, and the next one will be the G pointer data. G pointer is nothing else than a void. G pointer data. So if you should really know that it's just a tidyf. You see a tidyf, it is a void. Okay, now that being said, the next thing which we are going to do, I'm not going to work with data at this point, so I'm going to cast it to void so that I can silence the compiler when it's complaining about it. And I'm going to say G, I'm going to say G return if fail, GTK is window. So in other words, if we are not passing, if the object is not a window, the program should be should return and fail. Okay, and now I'm going to say GTK main quit, just like this, nothing special. Okay, I'm going to call this function. Now what happens? We are monitoring the destroy signal. The destroy signal happens basically when you call this function, the callback function. In this case, the callback function which we are calling it is the GTK main quit, which closes the GTK main function right here. Okay, now we are not passing any parameter here, so we are going to stick only with the destroy callback with no parameter, and let's see what happens. When this function is called, we are basically casting to void the data because we are not using the data, but we need to have it there because this is the signature which expects the destroy callback, the gcallback function, or better say this is the gcallback function which expects our signal to match the signature, and then we are basically calling the gReturn if fail. So if GTK's window fails and the object is not a window, then the GTK main quit, then the program terminates. I mean the function will inform us that something went wrong. If not, then the GTK main quit will be called. So I'm going to compile it and run it, and at this point, when I'm going to click X right here, the program terminates. So to be sure that 100% happens the way how we know, I'm going to call gprint right here, and I'm going to say goodbye. Nothing special, just goodbye. Okay, so I'm going to format it, I'm going to compile it and run it, and at this point you will see now, once that we click the X button, you see our program says goodbye and the application terminates. And basically this is the way how the GSignal Connect works, and this is the way how you manage the signals. In the next video we are going to talk about a new kind of signal, and of course, just to be sure that you understand that every kind of signal expects a particular signature which should match always to your signal. If you do something wrong, then something wrong will happen. Let's see, I'm not sure what happens if I'm going to say now G Boolean, for example, and I'm going to say here, instead of GTK main quit, I'm going to say return false, whatever. Let's see what happens if you do something bad. What exactly says? You see, error, return with no value, static G Boolean, you see, static G Boolean, destroy call, and I said, okay, now this happens because we need to, if val return if val fail, or how it is, gReturn if gReturn val if fail. Okay, and I'm going to say right here also false, whatever, it's not important. I'm going to compile it and run it, and says unterminated argument list. So you know what, I'm going to remove this one right here. I'm going instead to see what happens now, basically when I'm going to compile the program. I'm going to hit X and says goodbye. You see, the function is called, but nothing happens, and this because we just manage it in a wrong manner, or in the wrong way, our signal, and this is not what you need to do. This is the right way, the way where you create a void function, and of course you call the GTK main quit, like in my case, to quit the window. That being said, thank you guys for watching. If you like it, please subscribe, share with your friends and neighbors, and until next time, see you guys.